gentlemen, before we go into our next debate, let's set up some context. The political tutu meme will come in just a bit, but here's some context for you. In 2013, the Waqf board in Madhya Pradesh woke up one fine day and decided that it wants to lay claim to some notable historical monuments in the Burhanpur district. There were 4 of them: the tomb of Shah Shuja, the tomb of Nadir Shah, Bibi Sahiba's Masjid, and a palace within the Burhanpur fort. The Waqf said suddenly, all of a sudden one day, that all these 4 monuments are their property. Cut to last Monday, the Madhya Pradesh High Court overturned the MP Waqf board's claim over these historic monuments. The court, in fact, even said, why not claim the Taj Mahal as Waqf property? Tomorrow, the court said, you might even say that the entire India is Waqf property. The High Court here was essentially highlighting the arbitrariness with which the Waqf board moves in which ways, and precisely why the contentious Waqf Amendment Bill 2024 gives the government a big say in regulating Waqf properties, redefining how a property is deemed to be in the possession of the Waqf to change the composition of the boards in states. But perhaps the most crucial amendment to the earlier law is the provision now that empowers the collector or the district magistrate as the arbitrator instead of the Waqf tribunal, thus giving the government a significant say in the regulation of Waqf properties. So earlier today, as expected, the Lok Sabha referred the controversial Waqf Amendment Bill 2024 to a Joint Parliamentary Committee. Not long before, there was a massive uproar and war of words between the Treasury benches and the government in the House. Minority Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju introduced the bill in the House, which was followed by a heated debate. Take a look.
हम सर अपने सरकार की ओर से हम पक्ष रखना चाहते हैं कि जॉइंट पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी गठन करके इस बिल को रेफर किया जाए और फिर ऑल पार्टी अपने संख्या के हिसाब से वहां पे विस्तार से चर्चा करें और स्टेक होल्डर से बुला करके जो भी सुनना है आप इस कमेटी को अधिकृत रूप से यहां से आप पास कर दीजिए और भविष्य में हम खुले मन से इस तरह का आपका सजेशन हम जरूर सुनेंगे, लेकिन देश के लिए जो सही है हम जरूर करेंगे.
Now, the India bloc is accusing the government of attacking the constitution and India's federal system, claiming it interferes with a religious body. Listen in to what the opposition said in Parliament today.
Fundamentally, this is an attack on constitution. Basically, when we are talking about the constitutions, this bill is a fundamental attack on constitution. This bill, through this bill, they are putting a proviso that non-Muslims also be the member of the governing council. Is correctly an attack on the faith and freedom of religion. Correctly. Now you are going for Muslims. Next, you will go for Christians. Next, you will go for Jains. Next, you will go for Parsi. Next, you will go for... Therefore, there is a fundamental principle. This type of divisive politics, India people will not going to buy now.
Sir, I stand here on behalf of the NCP vehemently requesting the government either to withdraw the bill completely. That is our request to this government, because no detailed consultations have been done with people who actually are running this organization today. So I request with full humility to this government to either withdraw it, and if they do not want to withdraw it, at least send it to a standing committee or make a committee together of the entire all-party meeting and then do it. Please do not push agendas without consultation.
This bill is just not against the Constitution, it's against federalism, it's against a religious minority, it is against human beings. Yes. It shuns justice in every possible way. The bill violates Article 25 and Article 26 of the Constitution, which says we have the right to follow a religion and the rights of religious the religion to follow and manage its own religious affairs.
Let me go straight across from my guests who are joining me this evening. Abhishek Sudhir is an advocate. Mayank Sinha is a member of the political advisor to the JDU. Joining us on the broadcast, Vivek Silas is the national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, and Tehseen Poonawalla is a political analyst joining us on the broadcast as well. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Vivek Silas, I'm going to start with you, given the fact that you, your leader actually was in Parliament today speaking against the amendments to the bill. My question to you is, what's the problem? The Waqf board is known to be a land grabber. Kabhi bhi subah utke they decide this land is mine, this property is mine. They will go, they'll hatyao it. And when the poor person comes to say, sir, ye to aapne galat kiya, who's the arbitrator and the judge in the case? The Waqf board itself. So what's the problem with what the BJP government is trying to do? How is this anti-Muslim?
I think the Samajwadi never said that it's anti-Muslim. I think the only thing as of now I can say, Shreya ji, is that this is a legal way adopted by the Bharatiya Janata Party to confiscate the land. The land, it's not just about the Waqf board. If you see what happened in Ayodhya, I want your listeners to, I want your viewers to listen very carefully. There was a, defense land in Ayodhya, which was used by the defense people. They had the shooting range and everything. In November 2023, what happened? It was amended and it was given to Adani and Baba Ramdev. You know, if we see the railway land or the Nazul land, this is what the government is doing. We just need a guarantee from the government, even if you confiscate the land. Suppose you have confiscated the land from the board after making the bill. You are not going to sell it to your industrialist friend. The Bharatiya Janata Party is acting like a, real estate agent. Or they are acting like a land mafia, that is all.
नहीं तो लैंड माफिया तो वक्फ बोर्ड है.
Yes, ma'am.
That one day got up in 2013 in Madhya Pradesh and decided that 4 historical monuments protected by the Archaeological Survey of India belong to them. ऐसे ही सुबह उठ के. The Madhya Pradesh High Court actually yesterday had to say, why are you stopping here? Claim the entire country as Waqf property. Taj Mahal ko bhi claim kar dijiye. The point is, why are you calling the government of India a land grabber when the Waqf itself has that image?
Because the land was grabbed from the defense, defense land was grabbed and given to the industrialist friend. It was given to Adani. That is why I am calling the Bharatiya Janata Party. No, ultimately what happened in Burhanpur, ma'am, I just want to ask you, I was listening to your, your summary very, very carefully, and ultimately what happened in Burhanpur, the Honorable High Court or the Supreme Court had said, no, this land is not yours. It's not practically possible that suppose the Waqf board comes tomorrow and says the Times Now office is mine or the Mirror office is mine. You have the authorities, you have the higher courts, you can go and you settle. It should be settled by the court. It's not that the government can come and say and confiscate anything and give it to their friends or the industrialists. That is not going to work. Let's see, the JPC has been formed now. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's interesting that a JPC has been formed because this government, at least its past record shows us, is not very fond of JPCs. Why did that happen? That is something I'm going to come to next. But Mayank Sinha, I want you to respond to what the Samajwadi Party and almost every opposition party said in Parliament today, that the move is anti-Muslim. Mr. Silas here is going ahead and even making the claim that this is the government acting like a real estate agent. They essentially want to grab all land and give it to their industrialist friends. Chaliye, last part can be rhetoric. But why would the government even want to interfere with what the Waqf is doing?
No, I asked my friend if there is any attack in Muslim on minority. This bill is against for the Muslim or minority. This bill is necessary for the transparency and accountability. And it is very necessary. Each and every government look the matters very seriously for any संस्था और like that, तो उसकी accountability fixed हो. तो इसमें किसी का कहाँ कुछ नुकसान हो रहा है. Opposition always create a trouble, क्योंकि वहाँ प्रधानमंत्री जी बैठे हुए हैं, मोदी जी, तो उनको उनके चेहरे से बड़ा नफरत है, उनके काम से बड़ा नफरत है. देश को मजबूत करने के लिए जो काम आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी कर रहे हैं, उनको उससे बहुत नफरत है। और एक बात मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ
अच्छा,
कि बिहार में माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने आपको इसको एक नजीर भी पेश किया है कि वक्फ बोर्ड की जमीन को जिला समाहर्ता, जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट कलेक्टर कहे जाते हैं, और भूमि बंदोबस्त पदाधिकारी होते हैं, उनको सर्वे करने का काम भी दिया था 2019 में, और उनको 100 करोड़ रुपए भी दिए थे कि इस जितने भी जमीन है वक्फ बोर्ड के, बिहार सुन्नी वक्फ बोर्ड के और बिहार शिया वक्फ बोर्ड के, इसके जमीन को आप लोग आकलन करके इस पे मल्टीपर्पज हॉल, हॉस्पिटल, स्कूल बनाइए फॉर द वेलफेयर ऑफ द सोसाइटी। तो इसमें दिक्कत किस बात का है भाई? अगर किसी संस्था की अकाउंटेबिलिटी को फिक्स किया जा रहा है तो दिक्कत कहाँ हो रहा है? दिक्कत इनको इसलिए हो रहा है।
गुड पॉइंट। अकाउंटेबिलिटी इज बीइंग फिक्स्ड। ठीक है, जवाब ले लेती हूँ, रुक जाइए जरा, जवाब ले लेती हूँ तहसीन से। तहसीन, दिक्कत क्या है? देयर इज अकाउंटेबिलिटी बीइंग फिक्स्ड, एंड इससे हिंदू का तो फायदा होने नहीं वाला। वक्फ बोर्ड डजंट टेक लैंड फ्रॉम हिंदूज, इट ओनली टेक्स लैंड फ्रॉम मुस्लिम्स, राइट? तो ये तो मुस्लिम्स का ही भला हो रहा है। Why this whole hangama in parliament?
Shreya, thank you so much for having me on the show. And there's often a saying that I say, ऐसा कोई सगा नहीं जिसको भाजपा नहीं थगा नहीं। तो भाजपा is the party of thugs. Abhi, there's my friend Vivek saying about the land in Ayodhya. Now the land here. Land and Bhajpa have an intricate connection. Now let me explain to you. What did the JDU advisor say? He said, listen, there has been no transparency. I'm quoting him verbatim. He said this on your show. I was reading the Waqf Act. The Waqf Act has who as members? Appointed by the central government and the state governments. Majority of state governments are BJP. So BJP is appointing thugs who are not transparent. Now Section 47 of the old Act and Section 47 of the new Act mandates that not just should the Waqf boards be audited, they must file their income tax returns. Whether they have an income or no, it must be filed. Now these guys are saying, look, there's no accounts are maintained. So it's 11 years, the strongest man in the country against whom we don't like his face, as the JDU guy said, I don't know how he differed that, is in power. They are not filing returns, but we are at fault. Baba, if Waqf boards are, for lack of another word, not following the law of the land, what did the strongest man in the world and the second strongest man in the world, the Honorable Prime Minister and Home Minister, do? Who are these people on the Waqf board? Their people, their appointees. आप तो नहीं हो, मैं तो नहीं हूँ, कोई भी इनके अगेंस्ट वाला नहीं, इन्हीं के लोग हैं। अब आते हैं तीसरे पार्ट पर। देखिए, they say, listen, this particular act, there's going to be, now all the land will now come, will be centrally listed. That website already exists, it's under the central board. So they say, koi bhi zameen hatya sakta hai. You also said that in your opening remarks. That's simply not true. Because in your opening remarks, you cited the High Court. What land can the Waqf take? If there is a dispute, you go to a Waqf tribunal. That tribunal exists for not just Waqf, for many other places. You go to a tribunal. Should you not be satisfied with a tribunal, you can go to a High Court or a Supreme Court. The tribunal is the first area to go to.
But how is it fair? How is it fair?
How is it?
That I grab your land.
You can't grab my land.
Suno, na.
Suppose you're the Waqf board.
Suppose I'm the Waqf board.
Yeah.
I take away your land.
You can't take it away.
Suno na. I say they try to do it with the ASI monuments, right?
Try to.
So, ठीक है. In this case, suno. हाँ, I'm taking.
अच्छा, ये कौन से स्टेट में था?
This was in Madhya Pradesh.
किसकी सरकार है?
ठीक है.
ये बोलो ना, जमीन और ये.
अच्छा, ठीक है.
बता रहा हूँ ना.
No. अरे मेरा सवाल सुनो. Listen to my question and answer. How is it fair? How is it fair that I'm the Waqf board? हाँ, I like Tehseen's land. ठीक है. I take his land. I think it is prime. ठीक है. Then Tehseen is very dukhi, and he wants to appeal somewhere. What is the first forum of appeal?
The tribunal.
The tribunal.
Correct.
Which is governed by who?
By them.
हाँ, तो माने चोर भी मैं और पुलिस भी मैं.
Correct. So this so then that way the telecom tribunal is also by the
so the DM being bought in by this act as the arbitrator. Arbiter. What's the problem in that? The DM is not your dushman.
Yeah, that part is not a problem.
No, but that is a problem that the opposition has raised over and over again in Parliament.
I'll explain to you. That part is not a problem. Now, in many states where there's non-BJP government, for example in Kerala, even Tamil Nadu, where the so-called issue of the village happened, you have to still take the collector's NOC. Despite the tribunal. So why have BJP not done those reforms? You still have to take the collector's NOC. Now the JDU spokesperson said the collector is anyways empowered. He only said it 2019 when JDU was in power. So you anyways could have empowered the collector. Why did you not do it? Again, because like in Madhya Pradesh, you want to take prime land. So you only want to be the arbitrator. You could have done this. The collector can anyways be, or the district magistrate can anyways be. You need an entire central act to make a district magistrate the arbitrator. What nonsense is this?
Okay, Sudhir, respond to what Tehseen is saying.
Right.
On
Well, I'm a lawyer. I won't engage in rhetoric. Let me just go by the law. First of all, the Waqf board is not a religious body. Let's be very clear. The Waqf board is a statutory body set up under a law enacted by Parliament. Members of the Waqf board are paid salaries and sitting fees by the Indian taxpayer. They are not Maulanas and Maulvis. The Waqf board does not have anything to do with religious affairs. They deal with what is known as a Awqaf, right? A Waqf. What is a Waqf, right? For your viewers to understand, there is a provision under Islamic law where a Muslim may set aside a portion of his estate for pious, religious, or charitable purposes. That is the extent of the religious nature of the duties that the Waqf board performs. Now, the Waqf board routinely, as you have been saying, Shreya, grabs land with the cloak of legality. Now, they are judge, jury, executioner, as you said. Now, the Waqf board claims Shreya Dhoundial's land. Shreya Dhoundial has to go before a Waqf tribunal constituted under the aegis of the Waqf board, and you have to argue that it is your land and not their land. They will decide on their own claim. They will be a judge in their own cause, which violates every principle of natural justice and the Constitution of India. Now, Shreya, I'll just make my legal points. I'll just make my legal points quickly. Then, what has the government done to combat this? Basically, they say the district collector will replace the survey commissioner appointed by the Waqf board. The district collector is a representative of the Indian state. The district collector will be the arbiter, as you said, on whether that property belongs to the Waqf or not. Where is the question of an attack on Muslims here? There is no question of an attack. Now, coming to the allegations of it violates the Constitution. Sorry?
Okay. So I'm just going to get Advocate Ahmad Ayaz in as well. What's the problem? Advocate Ahmad Ayaz, if you get in the district magistrate / the collector to be the arbiter, what's the problem in that? How is this an attack on Muslims?
The intentions of the government in interfering and doing most of the time, all these things are doubtful. These are not the important issues which are important for the country, because these belong to a particular community with what you call it provisions under law, and then with a representative, with a nominee of the government, well settled. And basically, the property of the Waqf is donated by the Muslims and for a particular purpose, that is religious and the charity. And beyond that, it can't be for any purpose. That's very clear. And this being represented as a chief executive officer by the government, having nominated by them, so that also is a representative of the government. What is the necessity of changing and getting involved, and when there are more important issues like corruption and then the price rise in the country, belonging the whole the people of the country.
You are saying there are more important issues to discuss in this country, and I'm 100% sure there are more important issues to discuss, Mr. Advocate Ayaz. But the fact is that the only discussion that has happened in Parliament today has been over this issue.
Can I give you an inside story?
Jaldi, my producer is screaming at me.
This is
the third largest owner of land.
Advocate sir, if I can just give an inside story. If the BJP thought they're going to
Give me
if it is, then you should ask Modi ji how it went from 4 lakhs to 8 lakhs square feet. The BJP thought like all of the bills they ran this through. This morning, one of their close allies. This morning, one of their close allies,
it will
the Chief
help
Minister, called up Modi ji or Amit Shah ji and said, "Arey Baba, please, sir, please, thank you. Can I give something else?" So this morning, a chief minister who's a close ally of Modi ji, sometimes is here, sometimes is there, called up and said, "Sorry, we are not going through," and therefore this had to go to the JPC. Otherwise, they thought they had the numbers. Clearly, the government did not have the numbers.
No, the JDU is you're spreading conspiracy theories. JDU representative is on this channel, and they were speaking in Parliament.
In Parliament, they said, but send it to JPC. When was the last time something went to JPC? Shreya, when was the last time?
I don't remember. We'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much, Tehseen, for joining us. Advocate Ahmad Ayaz, thank you very much. Thank you, Vivek Silas, for joining us. And Mayank Sinha, thank you very much as well. Abhishek Sudhir, thank you. Good night, gentlemen and ladies.